And we had some employee falls here. Well, don't forget, Clinton has 2 different establishments. They have a newer establishment and they have an older establishment. And if I were going to look at Clinton, I'd go look at that older establishment because it's probably what you're going to find is what was mentioned before. You probably don't have dual handrails going down to the steps when the people are bringing up the kegs of beer. You probably don't have equal risers in the steps. You probably don't have slip-resistant steps. So there's a lot of things that the building is contributing to injuries that you may want to look at as opposed to just employee conduct. Okay, so I put together a pyramid here for, okay, what are your external kind of soft costs associated with it other than just straight workers' comp costs? Obviously, you can start at the top with absences. Okay, wouldn't it be great to staff your place with the right number of employees and have no unnecessary staffing that has to cover for employees that are absent? You got your workers' compensation costs. Okay, I don't know if you're in a group rating plan, maybe you're in a reduction plan, but every time you have a worker injury, you know, it contributes to you getting kicked out of that plan and that reduction. OSHA has its own set, or Ohio has its own set of standards what are called specific safety regulations. Okay, it's similar to OSHA's regulations, except they're dealt with as penalties under the workers' comp system in the state of Ohio. And unlike workers' comp claims that go away after 5 years off your experience, your VSSR is treated as a penalty. If you're guilty of a violation of a specific safety reg in Ohio, that is dollar for dollar a penalty against you, a fine inflicted by the Bureau of Workers' Comp. We went over the occupational safety and health serious costs. Those are up to $7,000 per. We did the willful. Those are up to $70,000 per. You might have intentional tort liability in the state of Ohio. That's been significantly reduced by our General Assembly. But if an employee gets seriously hurt, serious burns, loses an appendage in some way or fashion, you could bet there's going to be a lawyer knocking at your door saying, intentional tort, we want money outside of the workers' comp scheme. Okay? And that's where they sue you in court and try and get in front of a jury, who I like to call 12 people who can't figure out how to get out of jury duty. But those people are deciding your fate. Okay? They're up there and they see a guy with a missing arm, and they're not going to look at you as business people. And then finally, you got possible criminal sanctions under the OSHA. The most recent example of that is those mining accidents that recently happened out in Utah and West Virginia where several people were killed. Several executives from those companies went to jail because they fudged numbers. They fudged incident reports. They fudged reporting reports to the Mine Safety and Health Commission. So all these are kind of external costs over and above that 161 that someone may take a look at it and say, well, that's not really a big hit item in my restaurant because I can quantify it by the workers' comp costs. So think bigger picture about what's the potential exposure. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Keith. All right, now I'm going to bring up Mr. Joe Wellman. And Joe did a lot of the background on this case study. And we're going to kind of wrap this case study up with a little bit of information on the safety management and workers' comp side. So come on up, Joe.
Thanks for having us today. Basically, one of the major problems I saw not only in this case study but the next two is companies not knowing, employers not knowing what problems actually exist. And